I'm pretty sure I'm live now, but I also think there's like a 10-second delay. So I'm gonna hold off a little bit. 10-second delay.
Yay!
So I'm gonna hold
there
off a
is
little bit.
delay.
I need to pause this because I do not want to hear and see myself. I do have the chat in front of me. So if you've joined me live, welcome, 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 welcome. This is my home office. Welcome to my home, both in real time and in my digital space. Today I wanted to, thank you. Today I wanted to share some time with you. It's a really important time of the year for me for a couple of different reasons. So tonight, the new moon will rise in Aquarius. The new moon is always a time for us to consider looking at things again, you know. It's a dark period and it's a time to plant seeds. And because tomorrow is the new lunar year, it's the year of the ox. It invites us to look at this year with a little bit more ease, limitless. I was going to say limitless creativity and possibility. And those are a few of my favorite words. So today I'll share my personal process to setting goals, and I also want to share my the way that I move through beginning again with a little bit more ease and self-compassion. So that's what we're doing here. So I typically do not enjoy the energy of the new year and the idea of New Year's resolutions because it sort of comes with a big push and then it kind of deflates. I actually prefer to tune into the rhythm, like my flow across every month, every day, every week, and see things more cyclical. And I found and have found over probably the last 15 or more years that the energy of the new lunar year is actually more aligned with me and how I live than the sort of crazy, not crazy, but like frantic-ish energy that happens around the new year, where you make promises and according to whoever you're reading, anywhere up to about 80 to 90% of people do not follow through on that. And in the first half of my life, if not more than half, depends on whether or not I live to be 100, I was pretty hard on myself whenever I broke a promise or let myself down. And so now I'm a little bit more self-compassionate, and I've found that the way that I live now in an acronym is different than sort of the culture promotes goal setting. So if you like Google goal setting, you'll probably find something that's called SMART goals. And SMART is defined as specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, which is the one I have the hardest time with, and time-based. And I'm not going to say that those don't work, but I'm going to say that what works better for me is if the goals are mine. And I have a couple notes that I'll refer to if you see me looking this way. That's what I'm looking at is my notes. To go over what mine means. I'm going to just test something. Oh, it worked. So if you post a comment and I can change it in real time, I'll just leave it right there. This is DC Productions, aka my husband of almost 30 years now, telling me to have a good live stream. He said that before I walked in the door, but thanks for showing up and sharing your love on here. So if you post a comment, I'll actually flip it up to the stream because that's something I'm trying to practice doing. But know that they're on about a 10-second delay. So if you're saying it in the moment, I probably won't see it for literally 10 Mississippi seconds. So when I am talking about MIND goals, the first thing, so the acronym MIND stands for movement, innovation, nature, and energy. And I start with movement because we need to be intentional about the direction that we're moving in. Is the goal that we're setting towards something that we actually find joy in, something that makes us come alive? Or are we going in the direction of fear? Is it something that maybe society told us that we should have, and we really haven't tapped into why? Like, why? So that's one of the things that I've learned over the last 6 years as I've unfolded Love Being Human, is this shift in direction that I took in what I call my darkest years. I was actually moving away from what I was afraid of. All of my focus was on not going near the thing that I didn't want. And it really gave it more power because it's where all my attention was focused. Anytime you try to fight anything or, use the words like, don't think of a pink elephant, you're going to think of a pink elephant. So in a way, this sort of shifts it into the positive. Like, what is it that you do want to think of? Like, do you want to think of green clovers? That's a simple kind of flipping it. But for me, it was really making sure that the movement, that the direction that I was moving in, that the choices I was considering was very much focused on what I wanted, what brought me joy. A simple way for you to sort of bring that to light, like increase your awareness around it, is to make a list of what do you want more of. And when you make that list, I encourage you to list things that won't give you a hangover. They're not short-term happiness kinds of things, like a piece of cake, which is a really big high for a tiny little bit of time, and then a big drop in energy, in probably direction towards your nutrition and your healthy goals and that sort of thing. So think about things that you want that bring you alive, that you want more of. What do you want more of in your life? Whether it's on a daily basis or maybe over the course of a decade. The last time that I did my list on things that I wanted, even though I live in Texas and have a lot of sunshine, I want more time in the sun, more time in nature. I wanted more movement, literally, like not just like exercising on a machine, but like adventuring in nature, taking hikes and exploring new things and that sort of thing. So that's what showed up in my list. And when I align it, I'll jump into the next thing. It sort of naturally gravitates down into the next thing. So movement. As you're setting your goals or resetting your goals or beginning again towards a goal that you've established, ask yourself if it's moving you closer towards what you want or actually just focused on something that you're afraid of. The next letter in the acronym MINE is innovation. And innovation really means unique to you. That's how I teach it. Unique to you because you are a very specific kind of person. You grew up a specific way. You have specific values. You have very specific dreams. So as you're resetting your goals, as you're thinking through the choices that you're making, sort of exploring those deeper questions of what brings me meaning, you really want to look at what your core values are. What is most important to you? And sometimes those have a little bit of tension between them, but you kind of dance around it. And the way that I experience tension in my core values is it is very important to me to have freedom, but it's also very important to me to serve with significance. And so sometimes that can conflict in a like this. Like I really had to show up on time. I had to allow a little bit of planning in order to, make an announcement and decide what I was going to talk about. And I don't do a lot of this publicly now because the majority of my connection and community happens within a group, behind, with the ladies and within university. And then trickles down into the podcast. So if you're not listening to the podcast and you're not in my online learning community, then there aren't very many opportunities for you to sort of listen in on what I'm thinking about. And so I wanted to offer something to you in this season because it is the beginning of a season for me, a very important season in the year, both from a spiritual perspective and also just like the season. It's a new moon. It's a new lunar year. We are at we're days away from Lent, which is leads to my favorite day of the year, which is Easter. And so it's a time of preparation, of planting seeds, of really looking deeper within. And that is what my teachings are about. So I wanted to show up here in person so that you had an opportunity to interact, to ask me questions in real time, kind of like DC Productions did over there. Or just listen to the replay and see, like today, February the 11th, this is what's coming up right now. And so innovation, what gives you purpose? What gives you specifically purpose? Not what gives you, like what has the culture, the broader culture, whether it's your, like for me, it could be my Mexican heritage, or it could be the way that I was raised, the way that society influences me. But then, taking a closer look and saying, is that really me? And a really simple, very relevant example is like what I'm wearing. If I'm looking at the screen, that's me right there. That's me right there. That's me right there. Getting used to this. Again, I used to live stream a lot, and then I got out of habit with it. So I'm wearing black. It is my favorite color to wear only because I have absolutely this much patience for decision making around clothes. I prefer that all my things match, that they're comfortable, they're interchangeable. And so if I were to reflect on what culture says and what I see in magazines and on movies, I see really beautiful ensembles, fashion, lots of cool things to look at. And I love beauty, but I don't value the time and effort that it takes for me to invest in that translating into what I wear. I really, really prefer just to put something on that's black because it's fast and easy, and I don't have to waste a thought on what am I going to wear. Typically, it's like 20% of my closet anyway. So mine goals are, is it moving towards what you love? Is it really about you? It should be all about I. Innovation. Is it specific to you? N is with a consideration of your nature, your true nature. Like love being human is a principle that starts with our humanity. You are a human in a body, which means that you have really real limits. Sometimes you get tired. You could be hungry. You might need a hug today. Like this is the foundation. This is the bottom layer of what you should pay attention to. And then when you look at those deepest needs, those are needs. Like belonging is a need. When we're not accepted into a group or we're ostracized, we experience physical pain in the same way that we would if somebody hit us. Like being in nature, in your nature, is important. Hey, hello there, Paula. Let me see if I can add this to the broadcast. Thank you, sister. Love that you're here. So, nature, knowing what you need because you're a human. One of the things that I found super interesting is and I didn't even recognize that I really was doing this, but I was doing it naturally. I would teach people meditation, beginning meditators. And what I found 80% of the time, most of the time, is that beginning meditator, as they would start to ground and sort of settle into their space, they would close their eyes and they would fall gently asleep. That's just what they needed in the moment. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you're not pausing long enough to take note, to share some intention and attention on what you really need, like from a physical sense, what is your body asking you for? Then that's what I'd invite you to consider as you think of your goals, because your goals will be experienced on a daily basis. And so we want to make sure that the process, the progress towards those goals is where you really draw your attention to, not on the outcome. And the way that I like to think about this is, if you're focused on simply the outcome, you could be rowing towards some far off island and only focused on that island, not really paying attention to the weather or, what you have in your boat, who you have with you. You're just focused on the outcome. In direct contrast to having this guiding star that you know you're never going to reach. It is your highest aspiration. And you meander through the world, moving towards that almost unimaginable, target. And so you focus a lot more of your attention on the progress, on the journey there, than on getting to that thing, because it is sort of way, way out there for you. So mind, movement, innovation, nature, and then finally energy. This is the most significant difference between my past life, and I mean that in the way that I used to live and how I live now. I'm very much more attuned to my energy, focused on getting enough sleep, knowing what times in the day I am most productive, I'm most focused, I'm most sort of on point. And if you haven't realized what your energy flow is or when you're at your best, then I'd encourage you to begin with an audit of your day. If you have the opportunity, one of the things that really reset me in the beginning, that helped me shift my direction, is I took 2 weeks off from the world. I was on a personal retreat from life. And this was the main focus for those 2 weeks, is to just learn my energy flow. Like, when did I naturally wake up? When did I naturally want to go to sleep? Like, I sort of disconnected from everyone in time because I wanted to just listen and watch how I would naturally move through the day. How did I prefer to move? And at the time, that's the only thing that sort of attached me to the clock, is because you can't be late to your yoga class. So, and I loved yoga at the time. I wouldn't go a day without it. So maybe do an audit of your daily schedule, because there's a lot of thought leaders and philosophers who say you can predict your future based on your day to day, because it's drip by drip. It sort of builds on in a lifetime. And then, let's see. Energy. Audit. What else did I want to say? In review, the difference between SMART goals and mind goals is that they are choices that are aligned with your values. And so if you've sort of fell off the wagon with a goal that you set at New Year's, this is the perfect time for you to revisit that goal with a little bit more gentleness, a little bit more compassion, and begin again. The way that any human being learns is through daily, deliberate practice. One of my favorite phrases is that we verb through our nouns. It's practical, deliberate, daily action. We verb through the shifts and the changes that we're wanting to make. And an example of this for you could be, if I want to become a writer, then I write every day. When David was becoming a mountain biker, mountain biker, he put on the clothes, got on the trail, got on the bike. You verb through your nouns. So that's really the gist of what I wanted to come online and say to you. This is a perfect opportunity for you to begin again. It is the right season. It is the right timing because of the new year, new lunar year, the new moon, and just a time to revisit what you thought you wanted maybe a month ago, and how that aligns with what your true values are and what's most important to you. So that's what I got for you. And I'll hold off a little bit to see if I get any comments in the stream, and I'm going to take a drink of water. Did anybody notice I got a haircut? I've been crying for the last couple of days because I don't know about that much was cut off. So like 8 inches. Is that about 8? It looks like about 12. So it feels super weird to have what I consider short hair. Yay! Verbing through our nouns. Yes, verbing. Like if we want to become a skater, we have to skate. I'm saying that because I know that Paula has a pair of skates and I have a pair of skates, and we're going to be getting on those skates and really exercising that shift and becoming people who skate. So I guess that's it. It's a pretty short live stream just to kind of get here, give you a chance to connect. And if you're interested, I also want to share an invitation because it is such perfect divine timing of the year within university in the online learning group. We're actually beginning a journey that is going to move from February 17th through April 3rd, which is intentionally aligned with Lent. And what we'll be doing is practicing this together. Because, again, like I said, being human is important. And one of the things that humans need is a community. Whether it's you and one person or you and 3 people, we travel better by at least pairs when we're trying to make change. And so I invite you to find someone in your life, someone near you that you trust and that can be a compassionate witness to help support you in whatever shift or change that you're trying to make. If you are interested in journeying with us, I'd actually like to have a conversation with you one-to-one, and I'll put the scheduling link in the description of this video before you come into group with us, just so that you have, so we can walk together. Because I understand that it's really hard to think of yourself coming into this new group. You as the new person coming into a group that is used to being together, I know that when I join new groups, I'm a little bit hesitant about that, so I can imagine you are. So that's all I got for you. And happy new moon, happy lunar new year. And if you have questions as you're watching the replay, then feel free to pop them into the comments, and then I will look at them later. That's it, folks. Thanks for being here. Bye.